Good afternoon, Cross Timbers. Today is Thursday, October 24th, 2013. This is Texan TV News from the campus of Tarleton State University in Stephenville, Texas, and I am Jazmine Echols. In today's headlines, on campus, last night's Yale contest was a success. A Granbury bus crash put 6 in the hospital. Governor Perry announces creation of Texas A&M University branch campus in Israel. A SpongeBob headstone sparks controversy in the Cincinnati cemetery. A funeral for a Bahrain teen turns into chaos. The World Series kicks off with Boston's offense putting on a show. And Carrie Underwood returns to live TV. In campus news, the winner of last night's Yale contest was first-time contestant Delta Phi Epsilon. The sororities and fraternities all worked very hard on their routines. Despite concerns about a possible fire hazard, organizers are proclaiming this year's contest the best ever. Lethes Towns, Director of Transition and Family Relations, said the contest was the best one yet. The contest was judged by a 3-judge panel that included the Director of Career Services, Elena Hefner. The fraternity Farmhouse won in the small division. In the large division, the competition was so high that there was a 3-way tie for second place between Delta Zeta, Alpha Gamma Delta, and Kappa Delta Rho. Delta Phi Epsilon took home the 2013 title with the creative and well-thought-out routine that was heard clearly by the crowd and judges. Delta Phi Epsilon member Emily Trank tells us what it's like to win, along with Elena Hefner, who describes how tough this year's judging was.
The decision was very difficult. I will tell you that we have no way of knowing how each other is voting, so we were just as surprised to hear the results and hear the 3-way tie for second place, but it was exciting. Everybody did great. Great job.
We've been working on this for 5 weeks, so it's like amazing knowing that our hard work paid off, and I don't know, it's just an amazing feeling. We love our school.
Yale contest was immediately followed by the beating of the drum and snake dance. Students who participated in this year's snake dance said it was the longest Tarleton's campus has seen in a long time, going through the streets and up and down the stairs of the Thompson Student Center. Tonight's event on the homecoming schedule is midnight breakfast at the dining hall. Doors open at 10:30 p.m. Around the region, the Hood County News reports that 6 students were taken to Lake Granbury Medical Center Wednesday morning after a 3-bus crash. The crash occurred shortly before 8:30 a.m. on Highway 377 East in front of Kroger. According to Public Information Officer Jeff Metter, all 6 students who were transported were reported by the hospital as stable and fine. The 3 buses contained a total of 50 students from Granbury High School, as well as the Crossland 9th Grade Center. And now today's Texas national and international news from the Associated Press. In state news, Governor Rick Perry announced Wednesday plans to create a Texas A&M University campus in Israel while visiting there. Texas A&M Perry's alma mater is planning to open a Peace University in Nazareth, Israel's largest city. Perry made the announcement with and at the home of Israel President Shimon Peres. Others present at the gathering were Israel's Minister of Education Shai Peron and Texas A&M Chancellor John Sharp. Sharp said this week the location was chosen after consulting with the Israeli president. The campus will feature a combination of Arab, Jewish, and international students. Many American universities have collaborative relationships with Israeli universities, but branch campuses have been rare. Perry said he wanted to see the Nazareth branch as a means to move the peace process forward and build understanding between cultures. Perry, who is not seeking the gubernatorial re-election in 2014, is mulling another run for president in 2016. In national news, a SpongeBob headstone has caused more grief than anticipated for a Cincinnati family. The cemetery says the headstones are inappropriate. For more on this story, we go to the Associated Press for video.
An Iraq War veteran's family and a cemetery in Cincinnati are fighting over 2 tombstones that look like SpongeBob SquarePants. The stone shows the cartoon character in an Army uniform. It was designed for Kimberly Walker, an Iraq War veteran who was murdered in Denver in February. A second one is for Kimberly's still living twin sister, Kara.
I gave them a drawing and said, can you accommodate this drawing? They said yes. They came back and said, well, this is how tall it's going to be, this is how wide it's going to be, and this is the price.
Each monument is 7 feet tall and costs $13,000. The Walkers say they went to great lengths to have the tombstones designed, including getting copyright approval from Nickelodeon. The Spring Grove Cemetery initially approved the stones, then removed them, saying an employee had made a mistake.
They just said it was a very big mistake.
A big mistake, and they feel horrible, but
they still have their rules and the things that they would like to accommodate at that cemetery, and our SpongeBob doesn't fit into what they would like to have there.
You do not wait until you put something up and then turn around and say, oh, you have to come back with something else.
The cemetery's president says he has to consider other families who don't think the SpongeBob headstone is appropriate. Carlotta Bradley, The Associated Press.
In international news, the funeral for a 17-year-old boy in Bahrain, who authorities said died while carrying explosive, turned into chaos yesterday as mourners clashed with police in the troubled Gulf Kingdom. Tear gas rose over the cemetery where the funeral was being held and the young boy was being laid to rest. Ali Asabah was said to have died Tuesday night after an explosion about 6 miles west of the capital, Manama. Hundreds of anti-government protesters and mourners battled with police, and Associated Press reporters saw some set fire to tires in the street and others throw gas bombs. Police responded with tear gas and stun grenades as officers closed the main highway into the city because of the fighting. The official Bahrain news agency said yesterday that police found a gun and ammunition near the boy's body. As a Sunni-ruled nation, Bahrain has been in nonstop unrest since an uprising by the country's Shiite majority began in early 2011. As the protests raged, the King of Bahrain addressed the new session of parliament saying he appreciated its stance against terrorism, extremism, and their instigators, as well as your refusal of any foreign intervention in the internal affairs of Bahrain. And in sports, AP reports the World Series began last night in Boston as the Red Sox blew out the St. Louis Cardinals. Mike Napoli started the onslaught with a 3-run double in the first inning after the umpires overturned an out call they had made at second base. St. Louis did not help their cause as they had 3 errors in the game's first 2 innings to put Boston up to an insurmountable 5-0. Carlos Beltran saved a second-inning grand slam, robbing David Ortiz. However, there was still 2 runs scored in the inning. The Cardinals did not look like themselves as they made multiple fielding errors, but they will have a chance to rebound as they play another game in Boston tonight before heading back to St. Louis for what could be a decisive Game 3. In entertainment news, according to the Associated Press, Carrie Underwood is coming back to your screens in a similar but very different way. Underwood will be back on live TV for one night only, December 5th, to star in a live television version of Sound of Music. Underwood, who is not unfamiliar to live TV after winning the 4th season of American Idol, is not treating the project like so. She arrived in New York 3 weeks early to start memorizing her lines and get familiar with her co-stars. In the midst of this, Underwood is set to host the Country Music Awards while being nominated for 3 awards, including Album of the Year. And according to the Weather Channel, we should expect a high of 77 and a low of 50. Texan TV News is a product of the Texan News Service. Find us on Facebook and Twitter and visit our website at texannewsservice.net for all your latest news, sports, lifestyles, and entertainment. I'm Jazmine Echols from Tarleton State University in Stephenville, Texas.